Hello, everyone, and welcome back to already what is now episode 7 of an art teacher drawing GOBS, this time GOBS of Adventure Time characters. I've got another set of 5 illustrations we're going to break down, take a look at some of the things I did right, some of the things I did wrong, what I might change. The series I think is going pretty well. Again, I'm just really enjoying the characters. Still don't know a ton about the story, but it's so fun to look at these designs and shape language and break it down and try and interpret into something that, I think my style is suited for. I've got 5 pretty good illustrations for this video. I've already got my 5 planned for the next one. Obviously here the one that made the cut for the thumbnail is the Ice King. Definitely one of my favorite character designs from the whole show. I don't think I'm really breaking any ground there. It's a lot of people's favorites. So let's go ahead and jump into that video. So the thing about Ice King that's pretty challenging is how much of the elemental design do you want to include. Obviously the primary shape language here is triangle and cone. You can see his whole body is basically a cone. This is mirrored in the crown. It's mirrored in the appendages and the nose, the eyes, the jewels, all of that. It's all very conic. And that makes something that's really dynamic and easy to design for an antagonist. Obviously, you get that, sharp side with the flat side, and, the personality kind of comes through there. You can see I've got a very extremely lit version of him using his magic for reference down there, and that sky is just absolutely cyan. Not exactly the sky background I went for mine, but I did like the super blue shadows for the beard and for the magic and stuff on the jewels. It's almost purple in some spots. So you can see I did use some illumination and light brushes to, one, make snow, but two, also make the ice magic, on also making that seem like it's connected to the crystals. I don't always do this, but I put effects over the actual line art, but it's not specifically a color hold. That's just something I'm kind of playing around with, seeing if it's something I can use moving forward. I think I crystallized, you can see kind of some swirls in the actual background image there. I think I crystallized some of those elements just to kind of add more texture. For this series, though I'm interested in using other brushes, I've kind of committed to sticking to the I think it's the soft pastel Procreate brush to kind of make that very textural, very construction papery type texture on the characters. I think it just fits well with some of the drawings that I'm going for. But yeah, overall, Ice King, pretty happy with. Solid illustration. Up next, I believe this character is Hunson something. Oh, I've got it written down there. Hunson Abadur. I think that's Marceline's dad, maybe. Hopefully I'm getting that right. Good character, solid design. Really, probably one of my favorite things about him is definitely the color scheme we got going on here. The green of the skin being so green that it's almost teal, and then having that teal be illuminated so that it turns kind of purple, makes for some really fun color choices, obviously balanced out there by the black and red, and just kind of that radioactive yellow-green for the eyes, I think makes for a nice little cell there. I decided to make him a little bit more stressed, kind of like crying. I took this sky image and, I don't know, just kind of warped it and made it very atmospheric. Tried to convey the emotion of the face in a way that matched the emotion of the pose. I think it's pretty successful. On the whole, I'm pretty happy with this, but I do feel like one of the downfalls is maybe I basically just copied that rendering style. The light's coming from the same direction, creating the same colors. And although I think I've added mood through gesture and pose, I didn't really change the mood with the color, which is fine. I don't think it's necessarily wrong to like copy color schemes, but for it being something that I'm trying to work on, I definitely didn't push myself. I just kind of saw it lit in a certain way and was like, oh yeah, I like that one. Let's roll with that. So definitely something I'll look at moving forward. Picking colors is something I want to get better at. It's just so tempting to use kind of those pre-existing palettes that that you see, and you're like, yes, that's just so successful. Let's go with that. Next, I do not know what this character is. I do not know his name, story, or function. He's got something to do with keys, something to do with doors. It's a pretty strange design, but definitely something I like. The colors are probably not my favorite thing, but the anatomy, this double jointedness, all these extra elbows and things. I mean, that honestly, it seems like a kind of character I would design for my own story. So I definitely really like this one. I don't think it's like a huge part of Adventure Time in any way, but yeah, I just thought it was super interesting. The door, hat, headband situation. I just love the little details like that. The fact that the ribs are so prominent was really really interesting. I think it breaks up that marshmallow shape really really nicely. I didn't get crazy with the colors, but as you can see, I did try out some different forms of lighting. So I found like this kind of apartment picture with all these multicolored doors. Kind of reminded me of Monsters Inc. a little bit, but these like nighttime apartments, and I kind of pictured him being like, I don't know, some kind of like crazy landlord, or like maybe like maintenance worker for this building, and the idea that these like every door's got this overhead light right in front of it, and maybe there's like an overhead light that follows him around. Again, I have no idea if this is an Adventure Time. I'm just like reading into the shape language and kind of crafting my own narrative here, but I really liked this one. Probably don't like, I like the idea and the drawing probably the most. I think the colors on the Ice King are a little bit better still. So the lighting in the Ice King was good too. So Ice King and Door Guy, probably my favorite so far. Unfortunately, our friend Hudson, I don't know if it's Hudson or Hudson. Hudson is in last place. So this one is very unusual. This is, as I was doing a deeper dive on some of the, I don't think they're like less popular necessarily. They're just like not in as many episodes. This like Vampire King that's like this kind of chimera griffin vampire thing. I just found it really really interesting. And this one you can see I actually kind of went a little bit more in detail and did more than just a character and dropped him in the background for this. I wanted to create like a whole scene, so I pictured like what could this guy be feeding off of, and then these cows and like a vampire, but maybe it's like conflicting. That I think I saw a screenshot of him with some cows maybe, and I kind of pictured that just as part of the story. But I got lots of different textures and shape here I'm trying to incorporate. I'm really thinking about the line weight, trying to make thicker lines towards the bottom, creating some depth, texture through some of the rendering, so you can really tell it's like the amalgamation of the different animals put together. A really interesting crown for this guy too. I think that was, I mean, part of why it was Vampire King. I drew a little bit, not that it's like a huge environmental detail, but just the idea of sitting on this rock after feeding and kind of thinking and reflecting on that. Adventure Time seems like a kind of like, not like overtly violent in like a graphic kind of way, but there's definitely like violence present within the world, right? And so to have a vampire character like this feeding in this kind of way makes total sense. You can see here I'm starting to focus on some of the cows now. I think I saw it'll probably pop up here momentarily. I think cows are definitely part of the storyline that he was in. So you can kind of see I'm trying to piece this triangular composition together here and layer all my different elements, so I don't have to go back and redraw specific areas or overcreate the space more than necessary. Sometimes I will, like I draw the whole cow and then just like fit it and then erase what I don't need around it, especially if I'm working digitally. But for this one I was just trying something a little different, kind of seeing where things landed. You can see this one's got like the degree of difficulty is higher just based on more thought being put in the composition. There's a few more design elements, a few more textural choices. It's a little bit more of a complicated design in the show, and I don't know, I just really liked this character and I wanted to, I don't know, to push this one a little bit further, see what I could come up with overall. Oh, look at that, even some hatching on the rocks. What can you say? A little bit of hatching and cross hatching. Really trying to go the extra mile here. Okay, I think it's going to be moving to the colors shortly. Yeah, so yeah, is that Witch riding a cow? He's got like full suit on in that one. I didn't go for that design. You can see I use that. Yeah, I think maybe the cows turn into vampires as well after he bites them. Not totally sure on the lore. And you can see I'm starting to block in some colors here. Really fun nighttime color palette. Obviously, I think that works for that. And the desaturation on everything really makes the red, which is just slightly pink if you look at it, really pop out, not from a brightness level, but from a saturation uh, point of view. Then I'm just dropping in some unsplashed trees that I texturized as well. Wanted to zoom in on him. I think some of the details turned out really nicely. The reflective cyan teal-ish that shows up. There's just a tremendous amount of sadness in the facial expression. Now that I'm looking at that even closer, I mean, geez, that's just really popping off the screen at me. And I think, I mean, the cows are cut out a little bit here, but it juxtaposes kind of the dead eye, no pun intended, I guess, of the cows really quite nicely. So I'm really happy with how this one went. Overall, this series of 5 so far, well, I guess it's 4 out of 5. We're about to see the next one, but it's been really, really successful. I like Ice King, I like Vampire King, I like Vampire Guy, I like Door Guy. They've all been pretty good. Sticking with the kingly theme here, I believe this is, I hope I'm not making this up, that would be just ridiculous, but I think this is the Butterscotch King. Obviously going to be based on those color schemes. Again, I don't think it's like some massive character that's in a ton of episodes, but just such a fun design. These character designers have just got to be flying through designs for things show after show. And I know they've got kind of like a world and shape language to draw from, but there's just so much care and effort put into each individual character that it just makes a project like this so much more fruitful because there's so much to study, so much to learn. This one was heavy on texture for me. Everything is very, very fluffy. I kind of see that in the original there, but obviously I've pushed some of that texture further with my inking. Butterscotch colors, super fun to use. I took like a winter castle scene and kind of like morphed it back there. You can see that. This one was really easy to add the butterscotch shadows to. It looks like he's got a little butterscotch castle back there. I don't know. I just thought that that was kind of fun. Now that I'm looking at it, not sure I fully texturized the backgrounds, seeing that it's zoomed in, but that's okay. Not trying to make these perfect, just trying to keep the series moving and keep the videos flowing, keep the creative energy moving forward. But yeah, I mean, for a set of 5, I think this was pretty good. This was a nice little capstone. Here we started off with Ice King, ended with Butterscotch King, mixed some vampires and some doors in there, and hey, if that doesn't summarize Adventure Time, I mean, what does? Butterscotch, vampires, ice, and doors. All the major food groups there. So yeah, this was episode 7, and we'll see you back next time for episode 8.